These are, to show the focus of the work, of the focus, these are the top, number one bill in the House we're going to sign, number one bill in the Senate we're going to sign. By number one, we mean the first one that got a number and was introduced. And also, this is actually the first public bill signing in the restored governor's office. So this is 001 for the governor as well, and many of you are here for the first time, so welcome. This is restored to the early 20th century look, the final end of a project that started many, many years ago, and really excited to kind of see this restored to its glory. And of course, for the first official bill signing, what could be better than these amazing bills that we're signing today, starting with House Bill 1001. So they're both Senate Bill 001 and House Bill 1001. So we're doing House Bill 1001 first. I want to thank Representative Bazenecker, Representative Mabry, Senator Exum, and Senator Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us today. You know, when you hear from Coloradans across our state, people love living here, the quality of life, good job market, great culture, the outdoors. But one of the biggest things we hear people worry about, complain about, is the cost of living. And the biggest part of the cost of living is housing, whether you experience that as a mortgage or as rent. And, you know, rather than just complain about it, we want to do something about it. And in the Colorado way, by coming together and innovating and persisting, we're really delivering on our promise to unlock more housing in communities where Coloradans want to live, where we know that there are jobs today. Sometimes efforts take multiple years, and I want to recognize many of the people in this room, the stakeholders, educators, housing advocates, environmental groups, and many of you are here. Thank you for your persistence, for your involvement, local elected officials, many who are here with us today who really stuck with this to help make sure that we were able to get this all the way into law. This HOME Act, which I will sign into law shortly, opens the door for community partners, and that includes higher education. We you know, when you travel around the state, you see community colleges and colleges own land, nonprofits, transit agencies, school districts. We're going to hear from the superintendent of Eagle County School District, one of the most expensive places to live, and really facing the imminent challenges of how do we staff our schools with paraprofessionals, with teachers, with clerks, with everybody that needs to work in the school, and where can they afford to live in our community. Of course, public housing authorities. All of these kinds of entities realize that being part of the housing solution is necessary for them to achieve their goals. And frankly, we as a state, by passing this bill, are saying we want our partners at the table as part of the housing solution. We want that local creativity driven by nonprofits and school districts and community colleges. We welcome you to be part of the housing solution, and this bill will help make it so. These are the kinds of opportunities that the HOME Act will unlock. As an example, in Eagle County School District, they opened Miller Flats Apartments with 37 homes for district employees. There's many more projects like that. The Superintendent Qualman is here to share that with us. Thank you to our legislative sponsors, and of course, in particular, Representative Bazenecker, thanks for your steadfast leadership on housing in the legislature and making a difference for Colorado families. This should also be viewed as additive to other steps that we've taken. With partnering with the legislature, we're truly beginning to chip away at the high cost of housing by breaking down barriers, allowing housing to be built to unlock affordability and opportunity. Thank you again to our local government and housing developers and housing authorities and business leaders and environmental leaders who have been working on this for many years, and this bill in particular for over 2 years. So this will really help turn the tide by welcoming more partners to the table to be part of the housing solution. And that benefits them if you're a school district, but it also benefits the broader community. Because that way the school district employees aren't then competing and driving up rents for other people in counties, and same with other districts that are part of this. With that, I will turn it over to the lead House sponsor, Representative Andy Bazenecker.
Well, thank you to Governor Polis, and I am just I am struck by the size of the crowd in this room, and it reminds me of what deep partnerships affordable housing requires inside of our communities. And so thank you. I would be foolish to try to name you all by name because I know I would leave some of you out, but I do want to in particular call out some of the folks who are doing this work in our communities already. Habitat for Humanity is a great example of this work already being done in our communities. What this bill says at the end of the day is that we know that building affordable housing is an incredibly costly and time-intensive endeavor that takes a lot of deep partnerships with local governments and other stakeholders. And we know that at the end of the day, we can do that faster and cheaper. And when we build housing that is affordable at a lower price tag, it means that we're able to house more folks in our communities at a lower price point. This is so responsive to what we continue to hear all across the state of Colorado. And that is there's not enough housing, and there's certainly not enough housing that people can afford. For me, this comes down to the fabric of our communities. Who do we envision as welcome in our communities? What are we saying as a state when folks cannot afford to teach and live in the same school district? When folks can't afford to work at a grocery store and also find housing in a school district that works for their kids? This is about a basic, I think, agreement of who we are as a state, and that our state is open for all, welcome for all, and that we will continue to take bold steps forward in terms of how we are able to house everybody. So for me, I also want to call out in particular the deep engagement that CCAT had on this bill. County Commissioner Pogue, County Commissioner Stevens, please join me in giving them a round of applause. It is, if you've worked in this space for a minute, you know that conversations with local governments are very important. And we also recognize that local governments are working very hard on this same impossible problem. And the ability to partner through the HOME Act to find a solution and a way forward that CCAT can support on behalf of counties across the state who are desperately seeking solutions in the same space we are is very meaningful to us, and I think speaks to the stakeholder work that this entire room did. So really, on behalf of not just my community, but I think folks from all across the state who are continuing to say, where is there housing for me? I look forward to pointing at the solutions brought forward by this bill to say, here in our communities, where you belong, where we know that you want to call home, there is housing for you. Please come to Colorado. We welcome you here. So with that, I will gladly turn it over to my co-prime in the House, Representative Mabry.
Well, first off, thank you, Governor Polis, for your continued partnership in making it easier to build more housing in Colorado. Also, thank you for being chill about the fact that we snuck rent control into the bill. Hey. Just kidding. And I am gonna give some shout outs, and I will echo Rep. Basenecker that I'm not gonna give enough shout outs, but there are some people I want to shout out. Eleni, Zach, John, Kinsey, Kathy, Jonathan, Naomi, Thomas. So many others have worked with us on this 2-year effort. I also want to thank my co-prime sponsors in the Senate, Senator Exum, Senator Gonzalez, and of course, Speaker Pro Tem Andy Basenecker for herding the cats and leading probably 250 stakeholder calls and helping draft maybe 200 amendments, something like that. So we have a shortage of over 100,000 units in Colorado. The work we have done together is starting to chip away. We are starting to see the price of housing go down, but families who have multiple income earners, people, single moms working multiple jobs are being priced out of their communities. Tens of thousands of households face eviction every single year because the cost of housing is too high. I see it every day in my job as an eviction defense attorney. The primary cause of the housing crisis is that there aren't enough options. And on the back end of evictions, we have to talk about what happens there too. We have to find new housing options for people who might have an eviction on their record. Otherwise, there will be thousands more people on the streets who are looking for homes. This bill creates the opportunity for school districts, housing authorities, transit agencies, and nonprofits who have open land that's in our communities, who are central parts of our communities, to help. We are creating a streamlined process so these institutions can build affordable housing where people live. In Basalt, a nonprofit and school district came together to build housing on school-owned land for 27 families. This law opens up the door for more projects like that, and I'm so proud to have been part of the work to get it done. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Senator Tony Exum.
Thank you all for being here. Thanks, Governor. Appreciate it. I'll just share just a couple of things. How many of you have kids? Great. You know how excited sometimes your kids get when they meet a new neighbor? Well, this bill is going to allow adults to get excited when they meet new neighbors. Yeah. And I've said this before, if we're going to solve or help solve the affordable housing crisis, we need to open up our hearts to new neighbors that may not look like us, maybe from a different part of the world, maybe a different part of the neighborhood, but they want to be a part of affordable housing too. So appreciate you being here. God bless you. I will pass on to my co-prime in the Senate, Senator Gonzalez.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Julie Gonzalez. I represent Northwest and downtown Denver in the Colorado State Senate. And what a joy it has been to work alongside such a beautiful and broad coalition and such thoughtful and committed co-prime sponsors in order to unlock the potential for more housing in Colorado now. Y'all, this has been a long time coming, and what has been clear is that you have been willing to put in the work, not when it was easy, but especially because it was hard. You, friends, are the ones that we have been waiting for. Thank you for the work that you did. Thank you to Jessica and to Michelle for first approaching me 2 years ago and saying, hi, there are communities, there are properties that want to be able to make housing work, and they cannot make the math work. We have an idea. Thank you for bringing me into this work. Thank you to the coalition of leaders across this state who relentlessly worked alongside us all on all of those Zoom stakeholder meetings to make this bill a reality. We have much more work to do, but I'm so proud to be alongside you, shoulder to shoulder in this work, to make housing accessible, available, and safe for all Coloradans. Thank you, Governor Polis. And it is now my honor and joy to introduce Eagle County Superintendent Philip Qualman to provide his perspective and context on the importance of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, sponsors, for allowing me to be here to speak about what Eagle County has been doing. I represent Eagle County School District, which is home to Vail, Beaver Creek, Avon, Edwards, some of the most expensive places to live in the county. 7 years I've been in this job. I wish the Home Act was in place 7 years ago. One of the initial endeavors that we pursued in taking over the job of superintendent was to recognize that we cannot recruit and retain quality educators in our community because no one can afford to live there. So we started this work with 30 units of affordable housing when I took over. We now have over 150, and we have another, thank you. We have another 120 units on the horizon. So we've made a significant impact on trying to recruit and retain the best possible educators in our community. And to give you a sense that this is not abstract numbers that we're talking about, when people move into the housing that we've developed, they're often saving up to $1,500 a month in rent. $1,500 a month in rent. That's life-changing money for people who are making $50,000, $60,000 a year. So what the Home Act is going to do for us, it's going to reduce barriers, it's going to reduce red tape, it's going to make superintendents around the state have more opportunity to do what we've done, to create sustainable housing, affordable housing. That means shorter commutes It means less second jobs. It means more time for our educators to spend in their school working with their kids. It's a huge impact for our communities and for our students. So again, I'm thankful for the sponsors for this. It's going to be a big impact on all the families, all of our kids in our state. Thank you again.
All right, it's official. Congratulations. One more bill. Okay.
Let's see. So the next bill, and many of the stakeholders are the same, so if you worked on both, please stay. If you still stay, we just have one more quick bill signing. This is Senate Bill 26001. Senator Dylan Roberts, Senator Jeff Bridges, Representative Andy Basenecker, workforce housing and housing tax credits. So in addition to, of course, looking at the ability to build side, embracing the nonprofits like the other one did, housing credits are a key tool to be able to deliver housing that people can afford. And that's really what this bill helps revitalize and improve. And with that, I will turn it over to lead sponsor, Senator Dylan Roberts.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Of course, very excited about House Bill number 1, but also excited about Senate Bill number 1. Some common denominators here. These are both about housing and building more housing in our state, and they are also both sponsored by Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker. So thank you for all of your work on both the bills. This bill is about local projects and working with our partners at the local level, whether it's governmental, housing authorities, nonprofits, to unlock local resources and get rid of red tape that has been standing in the way of affordable housing development in those communities. We talked a lot about partnerships for the previous bill. That's what this bill is about too. It's about making sure that counties and municipalities and housing authorities and nonprofits can partner together and unlock local resources to build the housing that works for their communities. We are also in this bill unlocking more potential of the middle income housing tax credit to help finance more of these projects and unlock more resources to get these projects done. This is a really important bill. It's not as, didn't get as much attention as 1001, but I think will be very impactful for the communities that care about housing, like where I come from in the mountains. You heard from Superintendent Qualman. We also have Commissioner Tamara Poe from Summit County here. These are communities that care deeply about building housing for their communities. They know that our community character cannot continue if we can't retain our workforce and people that want to be able to live there. And unlocking these local resources is so important in doing that. So thank you for everybody that partnered on this bill, particularly Summit County and Larimer County. I know Commissioner Stevens is here, Commissioner Pogue. Thank you for your leadership in bringing this forward. We also had great input from the town of Avon, the Middle Income Housing Authority, and the Colorado Municipal League, who all see value in getting rid of some of this red tape and helping unlock more local potential to build housing. And I'm also grateful for the governor's office partnership on this, Eleni and your team for advising us on making sure this bill was written the right way. So excited this will be one more tool in the toolbox we're building to build more homes in Colorado where people can afford and live in our great state. With that, I'll turn it over to my co-prime sponsor in the Senate, Senator Jeff Bridges.
Every Coloradan should be able to afford to live where they work. And there is no silver bullet for solving that problem, but there are many silver BBs. And today's bills are two of those BBs. We created the first in the country middle income housing tax credit. We should be really proud about that. This bill looks at the implementation of that, learns, because again, we're the first and I think still only in the country state to have this, and modifies it a bit to make it more workable. This is the process of making law. This is the process of how it is that we ensure there are more houses that are built here in this state. We are going to continue to make massive investments in housing. We're 100,000 units short. We need public support. We need state engagement. these two bills today, I think, move us in the right direction. Still a long way to go, but huge steps forward today. So thank you, everyone. And with that, Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker.
I will keep my remarks brief, but I'd be remiss if I didn't note that it is a privilege to work alongside these two senators in particular, and to know that when you sign on to a bill that it's going to come to your chamber in such good shape, because they will have done the work on the ground and they have made the case so efficiently and effectively with their colleagues that it really becomes a slam dunk in the other chamber. So many of the solutions that we're putting forward are yes and solutions because of so much of the work, as Senator Bridges mentions, has already been done on the ground. And so we are building on that work, recognizing the opportunity we have as a state, and those things don't happen by accident. They happen because people continue to show up, advocate, believe that a better life is possible for folks in our community, and understand the nexus that housing has with that belief. And so from my perspective, it's a privilege to join on to these bills, to give another tool in the toolbox to our local governments to say, you are working so hard on the difficult problem of affordable housing. Let's unlock some more solutions that you can bring to that equation to hopefully be more successful. And so thank you so much for all the support for the bill. Thank you to our local government friends for deeply supporting this bill and for our Senate sponsors, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Tamara and Commissioner Stevens.
Join us, commissioners. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Great, very exciting. Two great bills for housing, great start for the work we're doing, all additive. So congratulations, everybody.